Hi, my name is Lisa May from BSBA 3C and the Strategic Management. My topic would be the entry barriers. So, of course, the more profitable an industry, the more attractive it is for new competitors to enter. There are, however, a number of important barriers to entry that raise the cost for potential competitors, which reduces the threat of entry. So, it's the entry barriers, obstacles that determine how easily a firm can enter an industry. Entry barriers are often one of the most significant protectors of industry profit potential. So, which are advantages for inconvenient firms are obstacles that determine how easily a firm can enter an industry. Inconvenient firms can benefit from several important sources of entry barriers, so such as the economies of scale, network effects, customer switching costs, capital requirements, advantages independent of size, government policy, credible threat of retaliation. So let's proceed. The first one would be the economies of scale. So economies of scale are cost advantages that accrue for firms with larger output because they can spread fixed costs over more units, can employ technology more efficiently, can benefit from a more specialized division of labor, and can demand better terms from their suppliers. So these are factors in turn drive down the cost per unit, allowing large and convenient firms to enjoy a cost advantage over new entrants not who cannot master such scale. So let's proceed to the next one, and that's the network effects. So network effects describe the positive effect that one user of a product or service has on the value of that product or service for other users. So the threat of potential entry to reduce when network effects are present. So take for example the customers of online auctions are attracted to eBay because they can benefit from network effects with more than 100 million active users. Buyers are more likely to find the item they are looking for on eBay, while at the same time, sellers are more likely to find buyers for the items are offering the ability to create markets where supply and demand will clear when quantity supplied and quantity demanded are equal is a positive function of the number of users having secured a larger number of users. Network effects give eBay an advantage over any potential new entrant. So in similar fashion, Facebook with over 1 billion active users worldwide enjoys tremendous network effects, making it difficult for new entrants such as Google Plus to compete effectively. We will discuss it in the chapter 7. So let's proceed to the next one. The customer switching costs. So switching costs are incurred by moving from one supplier to another. Changing vendors may require the buyer to alter product specifications, retain employees, and or modify existing processes. The switching costs are therefore one-time sucks cost, which can be quite the significant and formidable barrier to entry. Take for example, the firm has been using enterprise resource planning ERP software from SAP for many years. It will incur significant switching cost when implementing implementing a new ERP system from Oracle. Likewise, switching from using a PC with a Microsoft Windows operating system to a Mac with Apple iOS required many hours to learning the new operating system and software applications. Since the Apple has been the smaller player in the PC market for many decades, It invested much more to entice users to switch from Microsoft Windows to Apple iOS than the other way around. Lowering customer switching costs allowed Apple to gain market share at the expense of Microsoft and PC makers such as Dell and HP. In similar fashion, the threat of potential new entry is high when customer switching costs are low. When entering the smartphone market with its iPhone, Apple was able to lower switching costs with an intuitive interface and using friendly design. The next one would be the capital requirements. So, capital requirements describe the price of the entry ticket into new industry, how much capital is required to compete in this industry, and which companies are willing and able to make such investment. Frequently related to the economies of scale, capital requirements may encompass investments to set up plants with dedicated machinery, run a production process, and cover startup losses. And then take up for example the in the southern eastern United States, TV cable company Comcast has entered the business for residential and commercial telephone services and internet connectivity. As an ISP internet service provider, emerging as a direct competitor for AT&T, Comcast also acquired NBC Universal combined delivery and content. AT&T responded to Comcast threat by the introducing Uverse, a product combining high-speed internet access with cable TV and telephone service. So, all provided over its super fast fiber optic network. And then, let's proceed to the next one. And that's the advantages independent size. So, inconvenient firms often possess cost and quality advantages that are independent of size. These advantages can be based on brand loyalty, proprietary technology, preferential access to raw materials, and or distribution channels, favorable geographic locations, and cumulative learning and experience effects. And then that's the advantages of size, independent of size. And then the next one would be the government policy. Frequently, government policies restrict or prevent new entrants. Until recently, India did not allow foreign retailers such as Walmart or IKEA to own stores and compete with domestic companies. In order to protect the country's millions of small vendors and wholesalers, China frequently requires foreign companies to enter joint ventures with domestic ones and to share technology. But in the US, many states have restrictive licensing policies that limit the scale of liquor. City agencies such as the Network City Taxi and Limousine Commissions severely limit operating licenses, thereby preventing entry into an industry with otherwise low entry barriers. In contrast, the regulations in industries such as airplanes, telecommunication, and trucking have generated significant new entries. Therefore, the threat of entry is high when restrictive government policies do not exist or when industries become deregulated. And then the next one would be credible threat of retaliation. So potential new entrants must also anticipate how inconvenient firms will react. A credible threat of retaliation by inconvenient firms often deters entry. Should entry will still occur, however, incumbents are able to retaliate quickly through initiating a price war. Take for example, the industry profit potential can, in this case, easily fall below the cost of capital. Inconvenience with deeper pockets and new entrants are able to withstand price competitions for a longer time and wait for the new entrants to exit the industry, then raise prices again. Other weapons of retaliation include increased product and service innovation, advertising, sales, promotions, and legitimations. So potential new entrants should expect a strong and vigorous response beyond price competition by incumbent firms in several scenarios. If the current competitors have made large scale specific investment that are little used in other industries, unused excess capacity, substantial resources, reputation cloth with industry suppliers and buyers, and a history of reduced retaliations during earlier entry attempts. Moreover, if industry growth is slow or stagnant, inconvenients are more likely to retaliate against new entrants in order to protect their market share, often initiating a price war with the goal of driving out these new entrants. In contrast, the threat of entry is high when new entrants expect the inconvenience will not or cannot retaliate. So that's all for my report. Thank you.